According to medical professionals, the less you engage in these 10 routine activities, the longer you will live. Do you aware that there are some routines that you engage in on a daily basis that can be causing you to live a shorter life? As we progress into our 60s, 70s, and beyond, the conversation within the realm of health begins to undergo a transition. Increasing the amount of work you perform, taking more supplements, working out more intensely, and adding new routines is no longer sufficient. To a lesser extent, however, it is about reducing the things that are harmful to us. In addition, the most significant shifts are not always the result of what we begin, but rather of what we ultimately decide to quit doing. The purpose of this video is to explore 10 activities that, if you merely reduce the amount of time you spend doing them, could actually help you live longer, feel better, and save the energy you do have for the things that are truly important to you. Not all of them are significant shifts. It is not based on fads or fear that they work. Common sense, experience, and what medical professionals and scholars who study longevity have been quietly stating for years are the foundations upon which they are built. There are 10 things that are surprisingly widespread, particularly among older folks. These 10 things range from minor daily routines that put a strain on your body over time to mental patterns that gradually erode your ability to function properly. What is the good news? All of them are possible to be altered, and it is frequently all that is required is a shift in consciousness and a little amount of bravery to make a different choice. Therefore, if you have ever pondered the reasons behind why some individuals appear to maintain their strength, sharpness, and vitality far into their 80s and 90s, this could be a segment of the explanation. Stay tuned to the very end because the number 10 has the potential to change the way you look at your own behaviors and grant you permission to live a little lighter beginning today. It's time to get started. On top of that, persistent anxiety about insignificant matters. There is a way that worry may sneak into your day without you even having to ask for permission. A seemingly little notion here, a hypothetical scenario there, and before you know it, your mind is racing with thoughts about things that have either already occurred or have not yet taken place. While it is natural to feel some level of anxiety, continuing to worry over insignificant matters can create a sort of injury that is gradual and unnoticed. It has an impact on your whole health, including your digestion, your heart, and even the way your immune system works. It is a well-known fact that the majority of the things that we worry about tend to never truly materialize. After the age of 60, many people start to make the realization that they have spent a significant amount of their energy on mental noise, such as worrying about what other people might think, worrying about how something little might go wrong, and worrying about things that they are unable to control. And when that awareness begins to sink in, people begin to opt for tranquility rather than fear. This is not because the world is suddenly secure, rather, it is because they have come to the conclusion that their own nervous system is something that should be protected. Ongoing research continues to demonstrate that prolonged exposure to stress might hasten the aging process. Telomeres, which are the tiny caps on your DNA that regulate cellular aging, are shortened as a result of this. But even if you don't believe in science, you've probably experienced the difference in your own body, such as the tightness in your stomach, the strain in your chest, and the restlessness in your head at 3 in the morning. That prevents you from getting actual slumber. It is not the same thing as getting reckless when you let go of continual worry. The key is to develop a selective mindset. You start to wonder if this is something that you are able to carry. Is it worth that I let this go? Over time, you gradually develop the ability to refocus your thoughts and make the decision to be calm when your previous self might have been more inclined to choose turmoil. Individuals who live long and full lives frequently share a single characteristic in common. They have accepted the fact that they do not have complete control over everything. In order to cope with the things that they are unable to alter, they concentrate on the things that they can alter. This change, this gentle release, adds years to their life, not only to the length of their life but also to the quality of their existence. The second problem is sitting for extended periods of time without moving. Sitting is one of the most insidious factors that can have a negative impact on our health as we become older. Yet it is something that we almost never give much thought to. Additionally, it is not enough to simply sit here and there. One must sit for extended periods of time without interruption. It doesn't matter if you're sitting at a desk, reading, driving, or watching television. Sitting still for long periods of time causes your body to slow down. Muscles become more fragile and inflammation levels rise throughout the body as a result of circulation. It might not seem like a big deal at first, but over time, it can have a significant impact. There is a good reason why they are now calling it the new smoking. Sitting for lengthy periods of time has been associated with a number of health problems, including diabetes, joint stiffness, and even premature death. In addition, here's the catch. Regular exercise does not negate the effect of this. There is no point in going for a walk in the morning if you are going to sit for the rest of the day because the harm will still increase. Not only how long you exercise, but also how frequently you move is more important. Numerous elderly people, particularly those who are retired, tend to settle into a routine that appears to be peaceful but is, in reality, rather inactive. There is a small amount of television in the morning, a dinner at the table, and then additional sitting in the afternoon, possibly even asleep. Over the course of the day, you will find that the majority of the time has passed with very little activity. The reason for this is not laziness, rather, it is habit and comfort. As a result, the body has become accustomed to it. However, in order to maintain a state of smooth operation, the body requires circulation, the activation of muscles, and regular adjustments in position. The smallest of adjustments can have a significant impact. Every 30 minutes, standing up, performing mild stretches in the kitchen while waiting for coffee to brew, receiving phone calls while walking slowly around the room, or even just a few minutes of gentle movement are all great ways to improve your posture and improve your health. Reactivating your system and significantly reducing your risk of developing chronic diseases can be accomplished in just 1 hour. One thing that people who live long lives typically have in common is that they never stop moving themselves. That is, not by participating in marathons or going to the gym on a daily basis, but rather by incorporating exercise into your everyday life. Gardening, climbing stairs, moving with a purpose, and moving with joy are all examples of activities that involve movement. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Consuming food late at night is the third point. Consuming food too close to bedtime is one of those behaviors that may appear to be innocent but can actually subtly put a strain on your health. Throughout the years, many of us were led to believe that a small snack before bedtime was not a huge concern. Science and experience, on the other hand, state otherwise. Eating late on a regular basis causes your digestion to become messed up, causes your blood sugar to jump, and interrupts the natural rhythm of repair that occurs in your body. Your body requires some time to relax and wind down. The rate of your metabolism slows down after nightfall. Your organs transition from a state of active activity to a state of recovery. Additionally, when you eat late, particularly things that are heavy, oily, or sweet, you are forcing your body to work through the night rather than resting at night. Because of this, people frequently experience difficulty sleeping, indigestion, and even an increased risk of weight gain, acid reflux, and heart problems over the course of time. There are a lot of individuals who are unaware of the fact that your liver and intestines perform at their peak when they are deprived of food for extended periods of time, particularly while you are sleeping. By fasting for a full 24 hours, your body is able to cleanse itself, restore hormone balance, and replenish its energy reserves for the following day. However, If you continue to feed it immediately before going to bed, an interruption occurs in the healing process. And as time passes, the impacts begin to accumulate, causing you to experience symptoms such as a more hazy morning, decreased energy, increased inflammation, and even changes in your memory and mood. A straightforward adjustment, such as finishing dinner at least 2 or 3 hours before lying down, can achieve remarkable results, even after a few days. Some individuals report an improvement in the quality of their sleep. They feel lighter and more refreshed when they wake up. The most amusing thing is that they did not provide any fresh information. The only thing they did was quit doing a single minor item that had significant repercussions. There are times when breakthroughs or magic formulas are not necessary for longevity. It is sometimes necessary to pay attention to the natural wisdom of the body and to allow it to rest when it expresses a desire to do so. The ability to heal is already innate to your body. The only thing it needs is the room to do it. In addition, refraining from eating late at night is one of the most effective and gentle ways to give it the space it needs. Keeping your feelings bottled up is the fourth point. When you have spent years suppressing your emotions, there is a degree of harm that is not immediately obvious. Many people who are in their latter years, particularly those who were brought up to be courteous, self-controlled, or strong, may find that this habit comes naturally to them. By keeping things to oneself, one can maintain tranquility. On the other hand, feelings that are not voiced do not just vanish over time. The body is able to accommodate them. The cost of silence begins to manifest itself in ways that cannot be remedied solely by medical treatment. The suppression of emotions on a chronic basis has been related to a number of health problems, including high blood pressure, heart disease, sleeplessness, and even immunological disorders. The nervous system remains in a low-level fight or flight state when we have the tendency to bottle up negative emotions such as fear, anger, resentment, and grief. The body maintains its tension. Suddenly, the heartbeat quickens. At the same time, the stress reaction becomes continuous rather than sporadic. However, this does not imply that you should become belligerent or combative. To give oneself permission to feel, to name what is true, to say things like, "That hurt," "I need space," or even just, "I'm not okay right now," is what it means to accept yourself. There is no indication of weakening in these. These are indications of being alive. There are indications that you are still developing, still human, and still involved. Some of the people who have lived the longest share a characteristic in common. In a short period of time, they do not bear an emotional weight. They are able to discover ways to let go of it by engaging in discussion, praying, writing in a notebook, or simply crying quietly on the porch by themselves. There is no pretense of indifference on their part. Instead of allowing the feeling to remain bottled up inside of them, they let it work its way through them. It is possible that you will be shocked by how much lighter you feel after you stop pretending that you are okay when in reality you are not. Your ability to have better sleep. In what way do your shoulders relax? How your hunger becomes more balanced? Mostly due to the fact that when you begin to make room for emotional honesty, your body reacts with trust. And that faith manifests itself in the form of health, ease, and frequently the addition of years to your life. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. The fifth issue is excessive use of processed sugar. Bit by bit, sugar has a way of making its way into the body. In your coffee, a teaspoon of sugar. Following lunch, I had a couple of cookies. A slice of cake is served at a gathering. On its own, none of it appears to be very significant. The cumulative effect, on the other hand, can be significantly more detrimental than we frequently recognize, particularly as we approach older There is a correlation between the amount of processed sugar you consume and the likelihood that you will avoid inflammation, memory loss, and health problems that are chronic. Your metabolism will slow down as you become older, and your body will become more sensitive to the effects that sugar has on it. While you were in your 30s, something that might not have caused you any harm can now silently upset your energy, increase the amount of sugar in your blood, and put more strain on your heart, liver, and kidneys. Additionally, due to the fact that sugar is addicting, it is simple to become caught up in a loop of needing more of it even when your body is requesting less of it. Multiple diseases, including type 2 diabetes and dementia, have been related to excessive sugar consumption. According to research, elevated amounts of glucose in the bloodstream can cause damage to blood vessels, particularly those in the brain, and accelerate the pace of cognitive decline. The symptoms of this condition frequently manifest themselves in older persons as increasing forgetfulness, brain fog, or mood swings. On the other hand, even a slight reduction can result in improved cognitive abilities, more consistent energy levels, and even better sleep. Getting rid of all sweets is not the goal here. Choosing more natural sources, such as fruit, or limiting the amount of added sugar in foods and beverages, such as cereals, sauces, and beverages, are both important. There are occasions when simply becoming aware of the locations where sugar is hidden is sufficient to assist you in making different decisions. As soon as you do this, your body will react, your taste buds will reset, and your overall vigor will begin to return. I didn't know how exhausted I had been until I quit eating sugar, which is something that many older folks who have reduced their sugar intake have said. Due to the fact that sugar may provide you with a short-term buzz, but it always requires more than it provides. When you choose less, you are not restricting yourself. The topic at hand is restoration, about providing your body with the opportunity to flourish rather than merely survive. Additionally, over the course of time, that choice will result in increased vitality, enhanced lucidity, and potentially even additional years. Ignoring sleep signals is the sixth point. It is one of the most straightforward factors that contributes to a longer life, but it is also one of the most disregarded. Get some rest. It's not just about sleeping in general. When your body is requesting relaxation, you should pay attention to the natural signs it sends you. There are an excessive number of elderly people who choose to ignore their tiredness, stay up late watching television, or break their natural pattern by sleeping at different times throughout the day. Furthermore, although this may appear to be harmless at the time, the impacts that it has on your health over the long run can be quite severe. Going to sleep is about more than just feeling rested. During this time, your brain will clean itself, your tissues will mend themselves, and your hormones will rebalance them. Sleep that is both constant and of high quality is beneficial to every system in your body. The more years you have under your belt, the more significant it becomes. You deprive yourself of the opportunity to experience a profound restoration of your cells when you routinely disregard the signals that your body sends you, such as staying up past the time when you are weary, eating too late, or allowing screens to keep your head wired. There is a widespread misconception that as we become older, we require less sleep. The fact of the matter is, however, that old people frequently receive less sleep because they stop respecting the natural routines that contribute to the production of sleep. Intense light late at night, coffee consumed too late in the day, or even just a mind that is restless and full of unfinished thoughts can all contribute to insomnia. All of these activities make it difficult for your body to gently enter a state of rest, which is what it requires. Simply observing when your eyelids become heavy in the evening or when your focus begins to wane is an example of how simple it may be to pay attention to the messages that your body is sending you. Your body is trying to tell you that it is time, and when you respond with care, with the creation of a tranquil environment, with the limitation of stimuli, and with getting into bed when your body is ready, you begin to develop a connection with rest that can carry you far into your later years. Strong sleeping patterns are frequently observed in individuals who live long and healthy lives. Instead of adhering to strict timetables, they respect rhythms. The act of sleeping is not considered an annoyance by them. In their eyes, it is a holy thing. And when you do the same thing, you will probably discover that you have more energy throughout the day, that your digestion is better, that your memory is clearer, when your immunological response is stronger. There is no need to strive for perfection. Being deliberate, being aware of what your body is calling out to you, and having the wisdom to listen to it before it needs to yell out are all important aspects of this. I would appreciate it if you could use the 6th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Putting oneself apart from other people is the 7th step. There is a threat that lurks in the shadows, and it does not necessarily manifest itself in the way that you would anticipate. The issue is not limited to being by oneself. This refers to passing days without having a conversation that is meaningful. When you are in need of support, taking a step back is the issue. It is as simple as persuading yourself that being in your own company is more convenient than reaching out to others. When you continue to engage in that habit for an extended period of time, it will begin to have an impact not just on your mood, but also on your body and even your lifetime. Studies have shown that higher rates of cognitive decline, sadness, and even mortality are associated with social isolation to a greater extent. In point of fact, prolonged periods of isolation can be just as detrimental to one's health as smoking or being overweight. In spite of this, it is frequently overlooked. How come? Just because it is simple to conceal. Saying things like, "I'm just tired," "people are busy," or "I've gotten used to being on my own," is a simple strategy to adopt. However, even those of us who are the most self-reliant are hardwired to form connections. When it comes to maintaining their mental and physical health, human beings, particularly in the second half of their lives, require shared moments, even if they are very brief. A talk with someone at the grocery store, a walk with a neighbor, or a phone call with a friend are all examples of different types of interactions. The weight of them may appear to be relatively insignificant, reminding you that you are important and that you are still a part of something that is far larger than yourself is what they do. After the age of 60, many people discover that they are in a more peaceful phase of their lives. Children have matured, occupations have slowed down, and routines that were once familiar have evolved. It is simple to start distancing oneself from the community when there is such a lack of activity. On the other hand, this is the time when connection is most important. It is not necessary for it to be complicated, which is the beauty of it. Simply maintaining a few consistent relationships and engaging in a few conversations on a daily basis can have a significant impact on the way your brain operates, the way your immune system reacts, and the degree to which you experience joy. They are not necessarily surrounded by people, but they are also not separated. People who age well are not necessarily isolated. They make it a priority to maintain communication. They make an effort to help, even when it is uncomfortable. They accept the invitation with a positive response. They follow up with other people. Therefore, by doing so, they not only add years to their life, but they also add life to the years they have lived. Taking into consideration that you have been pulling back, this is a mild nudge. There is certainly someone out there that is looking forward to hearing from you today. A single moment of significance may be all that is required to serve as a reminder to your nervous system that you are not standing alone. Meals that are consumed in a hurry. Number 8. The practice of eating slowly can feel like a lost art in a world that moves at a rapid pace. However, after the age of 60, the manner in which you consume food becomes equally as significant as the food itself. Not only does rushing through meals, eating while standing, being distracted, or being in a hurry have an impact on digestion, but it can also contribute to overeating, poor nutritional absorption, and an increased risk of chronic ailments such as heartburn, bloating, and even weight gain. When you eat your food too quickly, your body does not have enough time to send you a signal that it is full. Therefore, it is possible that you will ingest more than you require before your brain is able to catch up. Additionally, this might be particularly challenging for older folks due to the fact that as people become older, their metabolism slows down and their digestion becomes more fragile. If you have a large meal too quickly, it may cause you to feel lethargic, uncomfortable, or even cause your blood sugar levels to be disrupted for several hours following the meal. On the other hand, there is something else, something more profound. The meals are not just a source of nutrition, but also a period of respite. You can take use of these occasions to check in with your body, with your feelings, and with the straightforward joys that life has to offer. Consuming food at a leisurely pace stimulates all of your senses. The flavor, the texture, and the warmth are all noticeable to you. If you chew more thoroughly, your digestive tract will have an easier time doing its work. You take a breath in between bites, which allows your nervous system to adjust to the new environment. When you slow down at the table, you are not being in any way fancy. Take care of your body and treat it with respect. You could claim that I'm not competing in a race with this. And that frame of mind extends to other aspects of your life, such as the quality of your sleep, the amount of stress you experience, and your capacity to really feel present rather than merely productive. It is common for those who live long and healthy lives to approach meals with reverence, viewing them not as something to be endured but rather as something to be savored instead. Not only do they give themselves time to digest the food, but they also give themselves time to think on the day. This is true whether they eat alone or with one other person. If you have developed the habit of eating without thinking about it, try taking just 5 minutes longer to eat. You might be surprised at the results. Take a seat, inhale deeply, and set the fork down in between bites. Now sit down. It's possible that you'll discover that taking things more slowly at the table helps you recover more quickly. Additionally, it is one of the most mild habits that you may develop in order to live a longer and more fed life. Number 9. Continuing to be in settings that are harmful. Knowing that mental tranquility is not a luxury is one of the most challenging skills to master as we become older. Because it is essential. In spite of this, a significant number of individuals spend years, and even decades, residing in surroundings that gradually deplete them. You can be in a relationship that makes you feel insignificant. You might be in a social circle that is full of criticism or gossip. Or you might even be in a home where there is constant fighting happening beneath the surface. As a matter of fact, the body keeps track of everything. In addition, the longer you remain in those environments, the more your health will begin to appear to reflect it. Environmental hazards do not necessarily manifest themselves in a blatant manner. The subtle tension that you feel in your chest when you enter a room, the way that you brace yourself before a discussion, the way that your sleep is disrupted, or the way that your appetite may change for no apparent reason are all examples of manifestations of anxiety. Over the course of time, prolonged exposure to that kind of emotional stress causes your cortisol levels to rise, your immune system to become worn out, and it can even contribute to long-term problems such as hypertension, digestive troubles, or anxiety-related disorders. After the age of 60, your tolerance for these kinds of circumstances typically begins to decrease. It is not because you have become less powerful, but rather because you have become more knowledgeable. You start to realize that maintaining a healthy diet and regular exercise are not the only factors that contribute to lifespan. There is also the matter of atmosphere, specifically the emotional climate in which you reside. Additionally, there are times when the most significant choice you can make about your health has nothing to do with the food you consume and everything to do with the people you are surrounded by and how you feel when you are in their presence. Making a change does not necessarily mean completely withdrawing from the situation. When you are in a challenging circumstance, it is often necessary to speak up, establish more definite boundaries, and create space for yourself from inside the scenario. On the other hand, in many instances, it does involve being willing to let go of roles that you have outgrown, relationships that are no longer serving you, or locations that no longer seem like home. Individuals who age well have a tendency to cultivate environments that are soothing, encouraging, and offer a sense of emotional security. They are well aware that serenity is the surest path to healing, rather than intention. In addition, they are not scared to prefer being alone over being hostile, or to choose silence over drama. If something in your life seems to be poisonous, pay close attention to it. This unease is not a sign of weakness, rather, it is wiseness. Your body and spirit are trying to inform you that we are no longer able to thrive in this environment. Additionally, the less time you spend in toxic situations, the more space you make for healing, for clarity, and for a life that seems like it is truly livable. I would appreciate it if you could use the 9th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Use of excessive amounts of alcohol or self-medication comes in at number 10. It is natural for the body to become more sensitive to the things that we put into it as we get older. Even herbal medicines are included in this category, along with alcoholic beverages and over-the-counter pharmaceuticals. Something that used to appear to be harmless, such as a nightly glass of wine, a tablet to help you fall asleep, or something to help you feel more at ease, can start to have significant impacts on your liver, your brain, and your general vitality. The habit of looking for a fast fix can gradually transform into a routine that shortens both the lifespan and the quality of life. Despite the fact that no one intentionally causes harm to himself, there are distinct differences in the effects that alcohol has on older persons. A slower rate of alcohol processing occurs in the body as a result of changes in water retention and a decrease in muscular mass. Perhaps a drink that was modest when you were in your 40s is now more potent. There is a slow reaction time. Sleep is rudely interrupted. The blood pressure begins to rise. One of the most unfortunate aspects is that it is simple to overlook these alterations, right up until the point where a fall occurs or memory lapses become more regular. Alternately, your physician raises a red flag during your subsequent checkup. These same precautions should be followed with sleep aids, pain relievers, or anti-anxiety medications that are not closely monitored. Although they may provide some relief in the short term, when used for an extended period of time, they can cause your thinking to become cloudy, damage your balance, or strain your organs. Moreover, what begins as a casual habit frequently develops into a dependence that is not immediately noticeable. One that makes you feel more exhausted, more befuddled, and more susceptible to danger. Choosing to engage in fewer of these activities does not mean that you will never partake in a glass of wine or abstain from taking medication that is required. It involves developing a heightened awareness of the messages that your body is sending you. Asking yourself, is this helping me heal? Is what it means to do this. Also, is it assisting me in avoiding? In addition, it entails looking for different ways to relax and unwind the majority of the time. An outing, one that is warm, a conversation that took place, those things that not only calm your system but also provide it with nourishment. The tendency is for people who live long, steady lives to utilize less, rather than more, when it comes to controlling their mood or putting their body into a state of rest. They do not rely on narcotics. It is more effective for them to work with their body rather than against it. This option, which they make on a daily basis, permits them to maintain not only their years but also their clarity, their independence, and their ability to experience joy. Therefore, if something has turned into a routine that no longer seems to be beneficial, It is never too late to take a step back and reevaluate the situation. The reason for this is not shame, but rather respect. Honor the life you still have to live and the health that you are fighting to safeguard. Respect both of these things. Lastly, some thoughts. As we get to the end of this video, I would want to extend an invitation to you to pause for a minute of reflection and take a time to ask yourself which of these 10 habits is present in your life. The majority of the time? Is there one that seems to be old? This is not because it is providing you with any benefits, rather, it is because it has become a part of the background noise of your routine. To put it another way, longevity is not always about adding more. At other times, it is necessary to eliminate the very things that are causing you to feel burdened. Habits that cause your body to experience stress. The routines that degrade your health in a gradual manner. Behaviors that are more expensive than they are beneficial. You don't have to make all of the necessary adjustments overnight, which is the beauty of it. In many cases, the first step towards something better is simply reaching a state of awareness. Perhaps today you make the decision to travel a bit further, in order to speak up rather than to remain silent, to take a break when you are feeling exhausted, to eat without being in a hurry. Perhaps you decided to let go of only one thing that was no longer beneficial to your physical health, your mental well-being, or your intended course of action. For the reason that the less you engage in activities that deplete you, the more room you make for activities that replenish you. Moreover, in that space, life not only becomes longer, but it also becomes more complete, richer, and more authentically yours. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.